So let's take a look at some news articles. So apparently the morale is really low in the spy agencies, as I think it is in every part of the U.S. government now. Trump and Elon are going to fire everybody, and it's completely unjust. All kinds of people are being fired who are valuable, who had good performance reviews, who were getting promotions, and they've been sending them emails saying they're being fired for bad performance when there's just no truth to it. So, it's very nasty. And so they say nobody's actually getting any work done in an environment like that. They're all running around trying to figure out who's going to get fired and what to do about it. So, not too surprising. And there was an article last week saying that our enemy governments are exploiting this and recruiting spies among the disgruntled American government workers, which makes sense. So this is one I hadn't seen before. So Texas governor ordered everybody to take the pronouns out of their email signature because they don't want to have any tolerance for trans people anymore. And that's why the pronouns are in there, so that you just didn't assume whether somebody was male or female. They're able to tell you whether they prefer to be regarded as male or female. And one person refused to do that, so they fired him. And Elon and him worked together. So that's where we're at. I was surprised to see the ISC Squared issued a statement saying this is National Women's Month, and there are a lot of women. It's 22% women in cybersecurity, and we're proud of that. And we're going to have a whole series of events promoting that. And they didn't get the memo, apparently, that the government will punish you for doing that. Everyone must be bigoted as possible now, and any attempt to not be bigoted is forbidden. So this is, and I think I saw a Chinese site that said just what I thought. This is our cultural revolution. That's what it is. It's like Mao, where they just come in and push this sort of religion of stupidity on us all. Like New Zealand. The New Zealand ambassador said, he doesn't think Trump understands history, so they fired the ambassador for that. I can see how your ambassador is supposed to be careful and polished political, and it is very much the case that Trump wants to be flattered. You have to flatter him and tell him he's great and everything, and that's what he likes. Yeah, the fact is, because I think you were talking about how he took the bust of Churchill out of the Oval Office, but then he put it back, and he said, put the rest of Churchill back, but does he actually understand what Churchill did? Obviously not. So anyway, he's lost his job over that.
Now they're bashing Trump, Musk, and other people are bashing the foreign affair, the Italian foreign affairs minister, because it's the only voice in the Italian government that who is a little bit critical with what Trump says. And now, there are appearing journal articles, and that they say how he's mocked when he goes to the U.S.
Yeah.
He is called names, tagliatella or pasta eater. Or
my goodness.
He's the only one. Meloni instead, he's the best. The other governmental, very good guy.
Yeah. Well, Trump's whole thing is to encourage racism as much as possible and bigotry of all kinds.
So it's not just it's flattery, you're right, but before the flattery is also you have to be in agreement.
Yep.
The flattery by itself is not enough.
I know the French have been speaking out very strongly against Trump, but I think Trump has written off all of Europe. That's why he's siding with Putin in the Ukraine war, which means other European nations are at risk, and they know that, and we're on the other side now.
But no,
Actually, switching sides in a war, I don't think we've ever done this before.
Right. We never done this before?
Other people, I don't think the United States has ever switched sides in a war.
Well, in terms of proxy wars, no, you guys have done something like this. At least you have switched
Have we?
When in Latin America during the Operation Condor once.
Oh, maybe.
For example, even in Vietnam. In Vietnam, there was the support of who was in charge. Who was in charge? First, the people in charge were supported by the government, by the U.S. But then France started during the 50s. France wanted back the Indochina, wanted to control Indochina. So U.S. said, "Okay, I support you."
Yeah.
And they switched. And then they were supporting whoever was there in Vietnam. Now I don't remember. And that's how the other party went about. So
I guess we have then. Yeah.
But what do I say? I was making another point. I was saying my concern is that now Macron is organizing this rearming of the Europe and the line as well.
Yeah.
But if things go very sour, I expect Europe versus Russia with the US.
Yeah.
The dual. And they have nuclear.
Oh, yes. I mean, I think I heard a wise guy that said we're already in a prelude to World War III.
That's why. That's why. I mean, I'm unpacking this. The statement I was making before. You guys need a little bit of Europe, but was really a plea to talk to people. Trying. You have you need to enact a sort of moral suasion
That would be nice.
to the people, to the voters. Because if you change their mind, things up. Change.
Yeah.
But attacking the high floor, the upper floor, I don't think it's.
Well, I know. I mean, there are leaders that actually bring out the best in people, but Trump is the opposite. He brings out the worst bigotry, selfishness, abuse, cruelty in people.
It's the animal instinct.
It's difficult to be an inspiring leader to inspire people to bring out the best. Obama did to some extent, but it's.
Obama was a good politician. So on the
Yeah.
front, it was very communicative and appealing. On the back, was doing the same thing that other politicians have done.
Yeah.
It's no different than-
And this is surprising. Gavin Newsom has come out against trans athletes, so I wonder if he is abandoning a seat for president. I think this is the mainstream Democrats are trying to become more like the Republicans. That's the lesson they're taking from the last election. There's a few exceptions like AOC and Bernie, but the mainstream seems to think that they're taking the lesson of Trump's victory, that they should be more like him, which I think is very unwise.
Anyway, because the point of when they were debating the loss of the election, the point was, you guys focused too much on cultural politics. And instead, Trump was economy.
Yeah. Yeah, the Democrats managed to lose, even against Trump, which is an accomplishment. And so this was pretty amazing. I've wondered about this for years. I've never seen it before. So a ransomware gang got some malware on a Windows machine, but they wouldn't run because the EDR stopped it. So they found a webcam with no EDR, and they put a Linux-based encryptor on that, and the webcam connected all the shares by SMP and encrypted them all. So this is what I've been expecting over the last couple of years. Now the majority of attacks are against endpoint devices like routers and VPNs that have no defenses. And I've never heard of this before, where you actually put malware on the endpoint device and then encrypt everything from there. It's brilliant. And I think everybody is vulnerable to this. There's no defenses at all on these endpoint devices. And
This is a hacking hardware, basically. See,
well, yeah, they're just another, that's right, they're just another Linux system, but you can deploy software on them. Yeah, that's right. So, and we've all been trusting these endpoint devices.
Internet of Things, I mean,
Yeah.
will become the main.
And
target.
now the cure would be zero trust. If we had it, for example, you would say, why would my webcam be accessing a share? There's no reason for that. But there is no product you can buy that implements zero trust at the consumer level. Even at the enterprise level, there's not much. So let's see, I saw that Gavin has went centrist. Yeah, that's right. And so the UK has banned encryption with a secret order. They have ordered Apple to remove encryption from iCloud, which they have done. And then Apple has announced there is no longer encryption available for iCloud end-to-end encryption in the UK. And so the UK, of course, had recommended that everybody use end-to-end encryption like every government, so they have quietly removed that advice from the website since it contradicts their position. So the UK is going against encryption. It hasn't yet hit the US. People are trying to do it here. They're always trying to do it here, but so far they haven't passed that law. And I think they won't, because this is one of the few things where the Republicans and the Democrats agree for different reasons. Both of them don't want the government snooping on everything. So I think they're unlikely to get through a bill like the Snoopers Charter, which is the one in the UK that said the government can edit everything.
This was the principle of the right? I know that's government.
That's right. The right has strong independence and privacy. That's right. See, that's one. So that you can sometimes get something done because both the right and the left want it for different reasons. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I'm going to stop the news.